all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Goddard puts the afterburners on. Shot in Harris. 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott. Oh, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Girls on my ground with me, all my girls with me. Ground with me.
Turnover by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. Now Bristol Pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Ground with me, all my girls with me.
We're coming to you live from Shaftesbury Park, the home of Bristol Bears Women, as they welcome Worcester Warriors Women, with both sides looking to arrest a recent run of defeats and kickstart their season. It's just a short trip on the M5 that separates these two combative sides, so expect a festive firecracker of a fixture today, where we're delighted to have your company. Lots of places to watch us, of course, this afternoon on Premier15s.com, Premier 15's Twitter, as well as England Rugby's Facebook and YouTube channels. But however you're following us, a warm welcome to our Round 8 live stream. Yes, a very good afternoon to you from the West Country. The sun trying to break out here. And I mentioned there Kat Merchant, who's alongside us for commentary. It's a festive firecracker of a fixture, but it's very, very chilly this afternoon. And although we've got the artificial pitch, it's kind of cold on for the hands, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, they'll be hoping to warm up, but I think both sides will want to get it wide. They've got young, quick back three, so they'll be wanting to use it. So hopefully the cold won't put them off too much.
I've just mentioned there kind of a run of defeats of both these two sides. I was quite surprised when looking at my commentary notes of just the runs these two are on, because every week you see the highlights. They're two teams that always seem to compete in games, but maybe results haven't quite gone for them.
Yeah, I think that neither of them have fully hit their potential, and you see glimpses of it. You know, you've seen some fantastic tries from both teams, and they really put in a good shift defensively, but it's just trying to piece it together for the whole game, rather than just seeing like maybe a half where they're dominant and the second half it goes and things like that. So both teams have things to put right, which is going to make it a really interesting game today.
There's a couple of big names missing for both sides. Sarah Byrne and Amber Reid, the big standouts of Bristol. Laura Keats, Lydia Thompson and Lindsay O'Donnell as well for Worcester Warriors. And although those are big losses to any side in this league, this is a chance for other players to come in, show themselves, and just try and turn this, not the season around, I guess, but just this run of form around.
Yeah, because with young players and, you know, non-starters and things like that, you do have nothing to lose. It's a cliche, but you go on and actually, yeah, the big names might be out, but that's your chance. That's how everyone gets their first chance. It's through an injury. You get your chance, then you step up. So hopefully some of those players today will be given the opportunity to see what they can do.
Let's have a look at the fixtures across round 8 of the Allianz Premier 15s. A couple of games, of course, lost to COVID this weekend. The big one, the top two, Saracens Women against Harlequins Women. That was supposed to be at the Twickenham Stoop rearranged game, which will take place on the 2nd of January. We've lost that one, and also Gloucester Hartpury Women against DMP Durham Sharks. But the 3 games, the 2 o'clock kickoff, Bristol Bears Women here, 2 o'clock. That gets you going. Sale Sharks against Wasps Ladies. Sharks, of course, with their first win of the campaign recently, and Loughborough against Exeter. That's your 3 o'clock kickoff this afternoon. All those 3 games, of course, covered across Allianz Premier Premier 15's channels and the league table for you. Look how things stand after 7 rounds. A couple of clubs, of course, playing 1 game less because of the COVID-19 protocols, meaning a couple of games were called off. Harlequins Women topping the table, 7 bonus point wins from 7. That top of the table clash will be eagerly anticipated in the new year. Wasps and Loughborough, both in action today, be looking to cement their top 4 places. A little bit further down in the bottom half of the table, Bristol Bears Women and Worcester Warriors Women there. We just mentioned there, perhaps performances not matching their results, and Sale and DMP propping up the table, with DMP Durham Sharks still looking for their first points of the campaign. Let's though hear from the 2 camps ahead of kick-off. The Director of Rugby for Worcester Warriors, Jo Yap, and the Head Coach for Bristol Bears Women, Kim Oliver. They've both been speaking to Claire Thomas.
Jo, the last half of rugby we saw from Worcester Warriors involved a serious defensive effort, not a point conceded against Gloucester Hartpury in the last 35 last week. Is all the defensive work you've been putting in since coming to Worcester really starting to pay off now?
Yeah, most definitely. We were really proud of the performance all round from in Gloucester. That last 35 minutes, the girls really stepped up both in attack and defence. And yes, defence has been a real focus for us as well. But we're moving in the right direction on both counts.
Not too many changes today to your starting lineup, but Brooke Bradley earns her 2nd start of the season. What have you seen in the young scrum half that's earned her this call-up?
We're really fortunate to have Brooke and Katie. They're both such talented scrum halves, and they've got a really good competitive relationship, and they're pushing each other all the time. And just felt Brooke came on last week. She increased the tempo of the game. She's a good attacking threat, and she's been training hard and deserves an opportunity to start.
And away from the match day 23, there was the wonderful news on Monday that Lydia Thompson had been named in World Rugby's Team of the Decade. How chuffed is the Worcester community for her?
Everyone's so pleased for her. Everyone's been congratulating her. She's such a great club person. She's so supportive of the girls at Worcester, and despite the fact she's obviously had that injury recently, she's still at the club. She's helping with analysis. She's talking to our back three who are really young and supporting them. So we're really proud of her efforts all round.
We're looking forward to seeing her back in action again soon. Enjoy today.
Thank you very much.
Kim, a real arm wrestle against the league leaders last week. For 45 minutes, you were so competitive with Harlequins. What were you able to take away from that contest?
Just that we can do it. We can be in the game for an amount of time, and I think the learnings for us were that physically we were very good. Mentality-wise, we were very good. It's just about maintaining that for the 70 minutes, and unfortunately, like you say, the last 15 minutes we let ourselves down a little bit and let in a few tries. But for me, I was really proud of that first 50 minutes and the way that we really took it to them, and we, confidence-wise, and to go with them head to head was really nice to see. And like I say, I think a lot of the time we were on top in the physicality battle, which was really important.
And today, perhaps a chance to complement physicality with a bit of jouet. Lovely and dry. Have you told your unchanged backs today they can have a bit of fun out there?
Well, they can always have a bit of fun. I think we have players that have the ability to play what they see and play heads-up rugby. We've got an experienced 10 in El Snozo, and she has the ability to control the game and then set our backs alive. So, I think if our forwards do their job and they give their backs a good platform to play from, then you'll see our backs just come alive, I think.
Unfortunately, there aren't to be any fans here today at Shaftesbury Avenue, but you are on the live stream for the first time this year. That must have meant an awful lot to the Bristol Bears community.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that we do get good fans here when we are allowed them, and so I think it's really important that they can see what's been happening. So they've seen the results, and I think, especially like last week, the result doesn't reflect the game itself. So if you couldn't watch it, you're not going to know that. So actually, we are playing well. We have been building over the last few games, and I think it's important that now the people that would normally be here get to see that and experience that with us.
Thanks very much, Kim. All the best today.
No worries. Thank you.
Thoughts of Kim Oliver and Jo Yap there ahead of this round 8 Allianz Premier 15's fixture. Let's get to the 2 teams for this afternoon, starting with the hosts. Real Welsh flavour to Bristol's starting 15. 8 of their team coming from across the River Severn, including Wales captain Siwan Lillicrap. It's a team that sees 2 changes from the loss at Harlequins, both in the front row. Captain Clara Nielsen coming in alongside loosehead Simi Pam. Despite missing Red Roses' Sarah Byrne and Amber Reid through injury today, look out for Welsh winger and Sevens Olympian Jasmine Joyce, who has been one of the stars of the season for the Bears since returning in the summer. Her hat-trick of tries last week taking her to 7 for the campaign, the league's second highest try scorer. Worcester are without a number of key players. Lydia Thompson, Alex Matthews and captain Lindsay O'Donnell all missing, as well as Laura Keats, who've been ruled out for the season. There have been 3 changes to the team, 2 in the pack. England's Jo Brown starts at flanker, and Amelia Buckland-Hurry, who spent 7 years at Bristol before joining the Warriors this summer, is in at second row. The other change sees Brooke Bradley into the number 9 shirt for Katie Mattinson. In the front row, the 34-year-old prop Carol Thomas, who only signed for the Warriors 2 weeks ago from Bristol, will be hoped to be part of a team that's looking to end a run of 5 straight defeats. On to the replacement, and after a full debut last week, the Canadian Holly Phillips is named on the bench for Bristol. She's alongside another Canadian in Steph Evans, whilst Alicia Butchers joined the Bears from Worcester in the summer. The Warriors have international experience of their own as replacements in Wales fly half Robin Wilkins and the England scrum half Katie Mattinson. They'll also be looking to the impacts of both Taz Bricknell and Zoe Healy when they come on. Both of them have 3 tries so far this season. Waiting for the 2 teams here in the West Country. There'll be a couple of pre-match. In fact, as I say that, Worcester are led out by Sinead Harris. And both teams will line up first on the 5-metre line, facing away from them. There will be a minute's silence for Luke Wheaton today, who tragically lost his life at age 16 in the Avonmouth explosion at the wastewater treatment works. Luke was a member of both the Bristol Bears Junior Academy and the North Bristol Rugby Club. Both teams have agreed to hold a minute's silence in remembrance of Luke. Minute silence there to remember Luke Wheaton, tragically losing his life age 16 in the Avonmouth explosion at the wastewater treatment works. Both sides will now mark in their own unique way. Rugby's continued an ever-going fight against racism. All teams across the Allianz Premier 15s choosing in different ways to show how to mark rugby's fight against racism. All teams will continue to do so, but we're now onto the rugby, ready to get going. Worcester Warriors Women in their changed turquoise away strip this afternoon, with Bristol and their home colours of mainly navy blue, of course the right shading across the front. Worcester to get us going. There's Sarah Nichols with the kick from the fly half, looking to just outside the 22. Well taken by Shuan Lillicrap. First touch of the game and first carry for Bristol. And the first action of this round 8 live stream in the Allianz Premier 15s. Boot to ball from Ellie Snowsill. Chance for Worcester to try and work something from deep, and Abby Kershaw with her hands on the ball for the first time. Bradley, one of 3 changes for the Warriors today. Big hit up the middle there as Buckland Hurry coming together with the defensive line of Bristol for the first time. Warriors trying to help it on. That's the halfway line they've just crossed. Onto the far side as Nicholas helps it on. Flick of the wrist from Bradley, getting the ball away. Right there and quicker this time. Looks to go down the blind side where Worcester trying to create the overlap. Good drive forward by Jade Shekels. Now it's Shaw. Here's Joe Brown on the ball. Good carry from the blindside flanker. Bradley now into Varley. Here she's again acting as the distributor. Gives it round to Harries, the number 8, with the offload out the tackle. Calendar in there as well. Busy and a nuisance from the open side. Referee happy with that collision at the breakdown. Play carries on. Bradley lurking. Really good phases this from Worcester. Slowly inching themselves up the pitch, and they're into the centre, but an excellent tackle there in the binnel by Marston. Looking to the forwards again. Brinkat with the carry this time for the Warriors. Just outside the 22 in the sunshine at Shaftesbury Park. In comes the error.
Lost forward.
It'll be a free kick to Bristol. A chance to relieve, but Cat Merchant, you've got to credit Worcester there. It was we're a couple of minutes into the game, and it was phase after phase, and they just seem to always make it over the gain line.
Yeah, really nicely organised as well. You can see what they were trying to do. They're trying to stretch the width, and then they're picking off the blind side as well. Really nice kind of passage of play from them. And then obviously Bristol get the opportunity with the knock-on, and that's gutting there. They are young players. They are, inexperienced at times, but yeah, she'll be really disappointed with herself there.
Paige Ferry, of course, a free kick now. These amended laws throughout the season, which we will take you in more detail throughout the 70 minutes here at Shaftesbury Park. One of the many changes. Marston with a wonderful line for Bristol, heading towards the try line, goes to the direct route. 2 players to bring it down. To the blind side they go. Lillicrap offloads in the tackle. Taken forward by Mulhern. First bit of attacking momentum for the home side. Carry by Pam. Dead centre of the pitch, looks towards the left-hand side. Marston again with the big carry. Driven back in the tackle this time. Worcester defence set now. Carried round the corner, up to the 5-metre line. Bears within a sniff of the try line. Pam just keeping it tight at the back. Now they look to use it. Snowsill with a little dink through. The centres of Skews and Murray chasing it. Knowing we have the penalty advantage for the offside, the kick coming, and Bristol still have another opportunity to attack and go for some points.
How good is Marston? I mean, she's put a huge hit in earlier just before the turnover, and then a big carry in there. And what happens with that is when you get big carriers, you're going to tighten up that defence. Worcester are going to have to come in closer, which means then the pace out wide are going to have room. But and Eleanor Snowsill showing her class there. She likes to put boot to ball, and why not test it, put in behind, because you know you can always come back for the penalty and for the line out.
First line out of the game then, Clara Nielsen. Part of the England setup in the San Diego Super Series last summer. Good catch and take from the Bears forwards, and they have another advantage on the play. Looking to try and keep it tight with their forward pack at the moment. They're back inside that 5-metre channel within striking distance of the try line and the first points of the game. Still looking like the tight play with the forwards at the moment. Go back for deliberately bringing that maul down. Of course, the only mauls allowed are within the 22s, within attacking and defensive line. Not anywhere else. It is another kick to touch And another 5 metre line out, and after being dragging down the first one, Kat, you think the ref will be very hot on anything coming down this time?
Yeah, and Worcester will just possibly be slightly more cautious, which means that then Bristol might actually get a drive on, which is what they want from this position, obviously, to go over.
Bears then set again, good take in the middle and good momentum on this drive forward. Just stops a second, the bodies of Turquoise, but it rolls round to the right hand side. They go again, Bristol. Just held up on the try line. Whole body of players, referee has a look, and that is held up, and we will go back with the few instances now. There's another dog joins the fray, a much bigger one. We'll talk you through the dog situation in just a second, but on to the action on the pitch. 5 metre scrum to Bristol Bears.
That's what they put out. What it is.
This, of course, the first scrum of the afternoon.
Yeah, and it's just a test because there is the scrums are reduced so much that actually they don't get much of an opportunity to go against each other. So the ones that they do, they're going to really want to go for and make their mark.
So before passes, any knock-ons you see today, there will not be a scrum. One of those opportunities for scrum time is this, held up over the line. Well held initially from the two packs, now it goes up in the front row. Pick around the back from Joanne Lillicrap, good drive from the Welsh captain. Brought down just short, another advantage on the play. So much pressure on this Worcester Warriors try line at the moment. Bristol go round again, keeping it tight in the forwards. Now they look to use it, skews to Murray. There's options on this far side. Just trying to help it out towards Courtney Keat, couldn't get the ball out there. Tried to use the free play, but they'll go back for another penalty advantage.
And that's just something there for me. If Powell had got herself just a metre deeper, she can get that pass away, 2v1, score in the corner, but crept just a little bit flat, and that's what happens when you want to create intensity. Sometimes you just accidentally creep a bit further forward, and then with the line speed, suddenly you can't get it away, but they come back, obviously, to get another shot.
Tap from Snowsill to Marston, who's been the big carrier in these opening minutes for the Bears. Worcester's defence so far has held out, and they'll be delighted with that defensive effort. They have themselves the free kick and a chance to relieve it, and you've got to credit the Warriors. It's actually going to be a scrum, sorry.
Yeah, that's a huge moment there to come away and get the ball back, because they have been under a lot of pressure. I mean, from up here it was looking like Bristol were going to get over that line somehow, especially as Worcester was starting to give those penalties away, give more opportunities. So brilliant work, good discipline to get themselves a chance now to get out of the danger territory.
So scrum and the put in for Bradley this time. And the 3 replacements for the Warriors. Solid enough on the first scrum, and it goes by Tremelling, looking to the number 8 again. Harries with the carry around the corner. Advantage though back to Bristol Bears' way. Here is Murray, tries to step inside. Good footwork from the outside centre. Snowsill, what can she create? Lillicrap just tried to step back inside, but didn't quite take the ball with her. I think she was thinking about the second move rather than what she wanted to do straight away.
Again, though, I think depth is an issue there. You've got to either, if you're hitting onto it flat, great, you run those lines like Marston does from out to in, and you hit the line. But if you're trying to get it wide, if that's your aim, you've got to pull just a couple of steps deeper, just to give yourself time to be able to fix those defenders and get it out.
Snowsill just taking a few steps back, and I think after all that pressure they just want to get some points on the ball, because they definitely deserve it, but we saw the last time they tried to carry it forward in a turnover from Worcester that there is still that chance of the ball being turned over, so they've opted for the posts.
Yeah, it's a safe option, but also I think it's credit to a defence. I think whenever you go for posts, you know, it's a sign that you're respecting of their defence being able to stop you from scoring. So yeah, good for Worcester in this situation.
56 caps now for Wales, Ellie Snowsill. 7 squad and Barbarians as well. Hugely experienced fly half. The first kick of the afternoon. And the flags stay down, so a miss from the Bristol number 10, and remain at 0-0 after 9 minutes.
I think considering probably the last 7 minutes have been spent in that 22, Worcester are going to be pretty relieved to come away with no points on the board against them.
the hands of Sarah Nicholas, the 25-year-old fly half. Aptly for a kicker, spent some time in a football academy at Aston Villa Ladies growing up. It's a decent high restart. Well taken though by the open side, Manon Jones, and carries it forward. Parker digging away for the ball. Snowsill helps it on to Ellie Mulhern with the carry forward. Good meters made there by the tight head prop. Snowsill as first receiver again. After that dominant couple of minutes from Worcester in the opening stages, all Bristol so far. Here's Simi Pam with the drive again, taking the ball at pace and carrying into the contact. Skuse with a little juggle. She did really well there to hold on with a right hand. Ball bouncing away. Difficult one for Snowsill. They didn't quite get a direction right. Parker. Murray gathers the loose ball and does well, running across left initially and then offloading in the tackle. Deep for Snowsill this time, and a clever kick in behind the Warriors defence. That's got good momentum as well, bouncing forward. Difficult one for this to deal with from a Warriors point of view. Defensive work to do here, and now Bradley needs some options. One of those, apologies if you're hearing a couple of barks and moans, there are a couple of dogs which we'll address. I mentioned I said we would after this play in the stand here at Shaftesbury Park. Bradley looking to a right-hand side. Also think there might be a chance here. Shekels with the offloaded really well, just wriggle some hands free. Now the Warriors are away. Wonderful break from Ferries here. Still going the winger. Brought down on the halfway line. Good pumping of the legs to get away. Worcester sniffing an opportunity if they can get the ball wide. Wonderful tackle in the middle by Snowsill, coming through, reading the play. Just stopping any Warriors attack. Now the looping ball over the top. Will that bounce kindly? Yes, it will. Here is Kershaw on the charge. He's got an option inside. And that's a well-read tackle from Kaylee Powell. Game just opening up over the past couple of minutes, and the Warriors back three enjoying just stretching their legs there, Kat.
Yeah, we said it beforehand, they've got a really quick back three, and they're going to want to stretch. And actually, sometimes a loopy pass like that could just come off so well, because defence generally end up stopping just slightly. And it was this footwork here. She's nice and balanced. Actually reminds me a little bit of a Lydia Thompson style run. Nicely balanced, weighted, and then they do really well to keep the ball alive and then get it wide again. So great to see the young back three working hard.
Nielsen with the throw, good action in the middle, but just tipped over the top. Mulhern to Snowsill. Into the middle it goes, good step back inside there. And then the leg drive from Lillicrap. Parker looking for it. Snowsill in the deep kicking position, which she uses. Laughlin ready and waiting, just looks up, thinks about her options. Into the centre of the park she goes, the winger, then looks to try and step, and a wonderful offload out the tackle. That looks slightly high from Manon Jones. Yes, it was. Penalty coming Worcester's way. So we'll address this dog's issue, problem. Wonderful addition to a Saturday afternoon. That's a sliced strike there, but Worcester will still have themselves the line out. So Amber Reid has got a dog. You can add to this mix as well, can't you, Kat?
Yeah, Honey Bear. I've brought her along to watch her first Prem game, I think.
So Honey Bear is here as well. So there's two dogs, and since we started commentary, we'll maybe get this confirmed at half-time. It is a giant husky, a couple of metres away from us. So any barking or just noises, I guess, dog noises you hear, that is the reason why, if you can hear them on this Allianz Premier 15s.
Don't you go blaming Honey Bear. Honey Bear is doing very quiet.
The more dogs on both England Rugby and Premier 15 channels, the better. That's all I can say. Perhaps we can try and get a camera shot for you at half time of some of the dogs in attendance for the injured players here at Shaftesbury Park.
How good was Laughlin's take then, actually? She took a ball overhead, just fingertips over, which I always think is just such a difficult skill to do, but just looks so relaxed doing it as well. And then she has a little run in the middle and then a good offload as well. But these Worcester players have an air of confidence about them to just try things, and I really like seeing relaxed players.
So I don't think that was the official water break that we get during the half of these two halves, but a quick break for both sides nonetheless. And what's been a very entertaining and open 15 minutes here at Shaftesbury Park. Worcester taking it forward now through Harries. To the middle it goes, big handoff there. Buckland Hurry against her former side. Bradley did the step, and to Shekels up against her opposite number, Murray. Brincat with the carry this time. All just a bit slow at the moment. It's good line speed from those in blue from a Bristol persuasion, but now some hands has got it out to the far side. Ferries again, the burst of pace, wonderful from the winger. Looks to try and use her footwork. Joyce, the winger in the Premier 15s, who will struggle to beat for pace. Loose in the middle again from the Warriors. Helped on into the second row. Brincat, ball under her right arm and a good carry. Bit of momentum now from a Worcester point of view, but then just a foot at the back of that ruck, causing the ball to be spilled, and it's turnover possession for the Bears. Ball slow at the moment. Rhiann Parker, the Wales scrum half, looking to dig it out to her fellow Welsh international Snowsill with the boot to ball, and Laughlin again with that balance running. Big handoff from the number 11. Looks to try and streak away now. Laughlin for the corner. 1-on-1. Looks to try and go on the outside. Wonderful offload. And well, Worcester go in, but the assistance flag on this touchline goes up. And so Bristol will have a line out, but what a run from Victoria Laughlin.
Oh, we were just saying about how relaxed she is, and she just looks so casual with the footwork. I'm going to go on about it again, because I always do. Get the ball in the other hand, move it across. She needs to move it to the left, get her right hand out so she can get that hand off. And if she does that, I think that's a finish. So really nice balance, running across to the corner. Get that hand out, okay, then you can get the hand off on Powell, get her off out away. I do like that she's going for the offload. It's a great decision, but yeah, I think a bit of fine tuning there.
Closest we've come to a score, but 0-0 still here at Shaftesbury Park. The drive from Bears, which they are allowed to do with these adapted rules inside their own 22. Marston, again the outlay. The two-time captain England international ball has come loose. Bristol with some work to do here. The hack away, but it's only gone to the 22, and Laughlin, well, a brilliant run, a nearly brilliant offload for the first try, but just took her out of the ball there, the Worcester wing.
And I think there's danger from Farries as well on the other wing. We've already seen her making line breaks, and actually that does the opposite. When you see that you've got this pace out wide, then suddenly actually defences are stretched and they go through the middle. So almost the opposite of what Bristol are doing, punching in to shorten them. Worcester are doing the opposite.
Laughlin again, the rangy winger. Good take this time with a tight touch line to deal with. Jones with the tackle for Bristol. Comes Marston looking for the ball, but Bradley just steps over and digs it out. Nicholas just senses some space over on this side instead, so works the ball. Bristol over the top of it.
You're on your feet, but there's no clear release, number 8.
Not releasing in the tackle.
You're on your feet, but no clear
You can see
release.
Bristol there thought it was going to be a holding on penalty or possibly a jackal. They looked a bit surprised on the call, but referees are hot on it. You know, he was right there. He can see tacklers have to make a real effort to show that they've released, hands up, so it's a fair competition for the ball.
Line out to Worcester then.
Just there for me.
So this is one which they cannot maul outside the 22. It has to be straight off the top. No players to join or sets. A penalty the other way.
I wish this was a law when I was playing, because I'd love off the top line out ball as a winger. Stood out there, they must be loving it.
Okay, you just stay on your mark, guys. We'll get it set up properly. She was fine last time.
Just a reset there for Carmen Tremelling. Referee just making sure that there is the gap between the two sets, and
Time off. We
Carol
need to make sure
Thomas,
it's right. So let's get in. It's a metre, not 2
Welsh
metres.
prop,
Okay,
who
come
joined
on
just 2
up. With you on the front, yeah.
weeks ago from the Bears, making sure the call is right at the front. But can hurry the target in the middle, and it is off the top. Bradley thought about the looping pass, decided to keep hold of it with the on-rushing defence, gives it back to Buckland Hurry. Good drive
You cut down the options.
into the Bears forwards. Thomas with the little tip on, and then the attempted grab on this near side by Courtney Keats.
I think it's
Back for the penalty.
Something that Bristol have been really good at, actually, is pressuring the 9 pass. They're getting insight, they're flying up from bodyguard at breakdown, but also off the back of set piece.
Bradley unable to find her touch, went for the deep one inside the 22.
Wait, 9. Thank
Will
you.
allow Bristol to clear, and a really good touch finder that by Powell. It won't find touch, but it's got good distance. But it is a chance for Worcester to run it back. Here is Kershaw. So lively, the Worcester back three with ball in hand so far in these opening stages. Here's another one in Laughlin. However, that pass forward for Thomas to the halfway line.
Yeah, and I always think the back inside passes, I'm not a huge fan of them unless you've really seen an overchase in the defence to get it the back inside line, just because it's so likely to look forward even if it isn't a lateral one. It's just ref in line with it. It's going to it just tests and asks a question there.
This is a phase of play that we've definitely seen differently in the Allianz Premier 15s this year. That one a straight drive from Lillicrap, but the moves, the set piece, the ideas off the free kick now, because there's so many of them in the game. One or two clubs coming up with some ideas. That one, the direct route. Penalty after a couple of phases of that direct route going to Worcester's way. And we've seen a lot of the game, Kat. It's been a moment or two inside the 22s, but we've been almost in the middle of this park of the 22s with the turnovers and the change of possession.
Yeah, it's just a battle of the I think both teams have really good line speed, which put pressure onto the attack, you know, and we've seen a few line breaks here and there, but a very evenly matched side so far.
7th and 8th in the table coming into this game, pretty much where their seasons are, as we do finally take that water break at the halfway point of this first half in the West Country.
I'd like to see a race with Joyce and Farries, actually. That would be a good race there. So for those who don't know, Jasmine Joyce is an absolute flyer. So yeah, that would be a good one that I personally would like to watch.
I mean, if you watch the Allianz Premier 15's channels over the course of the week, there was Jasmine Joyce chasing down Amy Cockayne, but coming out of nowhere, and you just saw her raw pace. But the chance of the half so far, if we go back to another winger, and it was Laughlin in the corner. You mentioned just the balance of the play, and we've seen that a few times. And sorry, we've just had two dogs run past us in that commentary position. It's quite hard to keep a straight face. But the work here by Worcester, and you just mentioned that if just change the ball there into the other arm, not necessarily a certain try, but gives you such a better chance.
It just opens yourself up to be able to hand off and to bat a defender away, because even if she still wanted to get the offload away, she could get the hand off, push the defender off her slightly, and then just lift it, and makes your job so much easier. And I think that's what, and it's just such a small change, but that just the transfer of the ball gives you the option. But yeah, I mean, everything else, the raw pace, the footwork, the skill under the high ball, is there. So yeah, just that kind of last little tiny bit.
Two teams just finishing their water breaks and the final team talks as well. This part of a number of changes. The ones you've seen as well, a play advantage law from a knock-on, which reduces scrums by over 75%. Free kicks awarded to the opposition for a forward pass, and the removal, the option for a scrum at a free kick or penalty. No mauling from line-outs outside the 22 for both sides, so it can only be inside from a defensive point of view or outside if you're looking to try and attack. And there is also strict social distancing, of course, when we have these water breaks. There's such things as name bottles as well for the players to just try and minimise any chance of a possible spread of COVID-19. But it has been, I know we are now in round 8, but just great to have the Allianz Premier 15's game back. There's many sports still. You think of the championship in rugby and other sports as well throughout the country that haven't got going. But top flight women's rugby in England is back, and although, you know, it's December, it's a bit chilly. We're in the sunshine in the West Country, Cat. Lovely place to be.
It could be better. Yeah, there you go. I think as well, you mentioned about the free kicks and stuff. It does give you an opportunity to be creative, because previously you don't get that many free kicks in rugby particularly, but it's actually a really nice base to start things off, and you do have, it's not like with scrum, so it's got to be a backs thing probably. You can have a mixture of the two, and I think it does provide something different.
Pass just slightly over the top of the Warriors fly half, Sarah Nicholas. Bit of work to do to try and get them to where that line out was taken. Here is Bradley looking for Carol Thomas.
You tucked her in there. The ball will come out.
Bradley again.
Guys, she's moving away, and both of you got on top of her and trapped her
all over
in
that
there.
breakdown and making sure he was in a place to make a judgment call.
Scrum.
We'll have one of those judgment calls with the scrum. I always find it quite funny when the referees make the mark on these 4G pitches, because are they trying to just get the bobbles moving, the little black bobbles? It's I know it's something they, of course, are used to doing on
Yeah, probably
grass
out of habit.
pitch, yeah,
as well.
rather than anything else. I just when they really drag their foot back, I do find it quite amusing.
I tried refereeing for a little bit straight after retiring, and I remember drawing a line with my foot, and the front row asked, "Where's the mark?" I was like, "Are you joking?" Like, well, you know, the big gap in the ground. But yeah, sometimes. But on this, actually, you probably could ask, "Well, where is it?"
Excuse me, ref, tell me.
Yeah.
Just hold Bristol, just wait for them to go.
Perhaps one for the vanishing spray that's been brought into football, but any more 4G pitches. The first scrum not set successfully here, so we'll go get ready for the crouch bind and sets again.
Crouch!
Bradley with the put it. 25 minutes gone. Still awaiting the first points here. Drive by Worcester. And it's called the scrum to spin round, and it will be a penalty to the visitors. Pretty even at scrum time. The few that we've had in the forward battle as well. Neither side really dominating in that area, both when it comes to breakdown and any set pieces.
And they'll be really pleased with that, because they'll be, you know, as we said, there's not many scrums in a game, so the ones that they do have, they're going to really want to make count. And so to be able to move up the pitch now, finally into the, well, just on the halfway line, Worcester's not really been too much in the Bristol territory, apart from the one line break from Laughlin.
Tremelling for the Warriors, just tipped off, well gathered. In the back of that line out. Worcester in possession. It's a better pass from Bradley to Nicholas. Offload in the middle, we'll see Brown take it forward. That one is behind Varley. Good break again by Paige Ferris, looking to go around the outside. Such raw pace from Ferris. Laughlin outsider, line up in the tackle. And really well hit the Worcester winger by the fullback Powell. Still in possession, the Warriors. We're just going sideways at the moment. Now Harry's trying to force a way through the 22. Ball under the right arm. Trying to steal the ball there, Jasmine Joyce. We mentioned her pace, and what a read in defence that is. Just when Worcester were going through the phases and looking dangerous around the outside. Warriors have themselves a penalty, but Joyce in the defensive work there, superb.
Yeah, it's a great read, isn't it? She sees where it's coming and comes in to get it. And if you go for those, you've got to get them, and she did. And yeah, good passages of play from Worcester there. There it is. That's the read, and that's great. It goes from line speed up to actually stealing the ball back for your side. I mean, great work.
Just an attacking force, Joyce, as we saw last week at Quins with the hat-trick. Defensive work there. Throw to the line. Now for the Warriors. Dummy jumps, and then it is Buckland hurry again. And the main target at line-out time. That's a good drive, and it's an advantage as well for Worcester, who have themselves a penalty. Just really, over the past 5 or 6 minutes, it's all been Worcester, the turquoise, attacking, coming to the fore, and they've looked very, very good as Bradley's kick. A bit of a shank. I'm not sure she wanted it exactly there, but she's got it into touch, and the team will have a 5-metre line out.
Yeah, Worcester really starting to dominating the set piece now, which can then just let them build in confidence, because their phase play has been very good, and we've seen them managing to manipulate defence. They're getting it out wide, and they're doing those line breaks. So now that if they can start to dominate set piece as well, that puts them in a really good position.
It's a good drive from the last line out. Brincat under a bit of pressure there in the line. Bristol trying to come through, but now the Warriors regather, going round to the right-hand side. Bristol players trying to stop this, but through come the turquoise forwards. Advantage on the play, up to the try line. Referee having a deep look and sticks up his arm. There are the first points of the game. The Warriors forwards doing the work, and they have the first try.
Fantastic to see as well. You saw every single player running in from the wing completely. That score meant so much to them, as you said, off the back of 5 losses. So getting the score in like this for the first one of the game, excellent in there.
So another look at this. We can just see that Bristol trying desperately to come through the middle, but it's very well worked, controlled and patient.
Well, I think Bristol actually opted to not go up, or definitely in the one before this I noticed they didn't go up, that one I think as well. So they want to do that because they want to stay down, they want to stay step, they want to hit it early, but actually you don't put pressure on the throw. So I think possibly tactically there, but they just, yeah, Worcester just knew exactly what they're doing, in tight, driven, and yeah, a good training park move from them.
Get confirmation of the try scorer. I think it was Tremelling was in there, Joe Brown as well. Sarah Nicholas lining up her first effort from the tea of the afternoon. Little shimmy before the right-footed strike. Unsuccessful with that one, so just a 5-point score from Worcester, but we have some points on the board. And that turquoise drive just started so deep, and the amount of phases that they went through the set pieces, and very, very good score from those of the Warriors' persuasion.
Just seemed like a change in momentum, didn't it? They just started to build and grow, and then the penalties coming their way as well as Bristol started to get under pressure.
Snowsill with the restart high, and a really interesting one for her team to chase. Good tackle by Nielsen coming through. That was excellent pressure from the Bears in response to that try, and they have themselves a penalty.
It's the perfect retaliation, isn't it? You've just been scored against. You have that moment with your team behind the post, and you kind of you have to decide how you're going to then attack it, and that's the perfect start for it.
Looking for an immediate response here. The Bears have themselves a line out 10 metres away. Clara Nielsen in the black scrum cap, just setting herself for this throw. Played under the Worcester director of rugby, Joe Yapworth, during her time at Exeter Uni. A few here, and that's an excellent driving maul around the corner from Bristol Bears, keeping it short. To the left now they go. All controlled. You can see the ball at the back, and they're regathering in numbers. Marston in there as well, still going again. The referee has a look, but just short. Looking to try and go around the corner. The Bears just held up, pushed backwards. The referee frantically looking around, trying to make sure he can see the ball. And the second time this afternoon Bristol held up over the line, they'll have themselves a scrum.
It was a better driven line out from them initially. I think they got themselves organised really quickly, very direct, in tight. They were driving, but what Worcester are doing really well in defence is just getting underneath them. So they've managed to stop the driven line out, and then the picks off it, they just stayed nice and low, and you can see it's a targeted thing from them. Just get under the ball, get as many bodies under it as possible, so it's held up.
Still the attacking platform for Bristol to try and work something. Joyce, the option down the blind side. The rest of the backs line up to the right. Reset that scrum again. It's a gigantic husky walked past us again.
Just keep your balance, please.
Just make it more entertaining, though.
I mean, while the scrum is resetting.
Oh, I'm glad you said while resetting, because
while the scrum is going on, I'm very much concentrating on the rugby, but while it's resetting, a giant husky walking past you is a lovely little distraction. Scrum is in play though, and the Bristol pack shove it forward. Wonderful drive, still going forward. Ball just comes out from Lillicrap, manages to regather it though. Did well there. The Wales number 8. Around the corner, Bristol go. Just inches away from their first points of the game. They're backing their forwards. They've come so close, and they do finally have their first points of the match. Bristol's pack finally coming to the fore. Ellie Milhern comes up with the ball, and they are all level at Shaftesbury Park. Bristol 5, Worcester Warriors 5.
And Milhern's body height there was ideal, just so low, like a dart, powering over the line there. No one was going to get underneath her. And I think Bristol worked really hard for that as well. They were really determined. They looked a bit more purposeful rather than just kind of trying to string the passes in. So it's the low body height here, making sure organised, because Worcester is set, but it's that drive down low with the body as well. So really good body management.
Excellent drive of the legs after initially hitting contact. Two Worcester Warriors defenders trying to stop the Bristol prop, but she just had too much power. And Snowsill successful with this conversion to give Bristol the lead.
I once got ratted out because I used to fast forward scrums and line-outs when I was doing analysis, and someone went and told the forwards coach this, and they weren't too happy with me. But to me, not that relevant.
Now you can appreciate a good body position, the drive.
I love talking through a line-out.
You're a
drive.
rugby coach.
Yeah.
You've got to do all these things.
all these things, exactly. Now I love them, but yeah.
So an even game has an even scoreline. Bristol 7, Worcester 5. Lillicrap with the carry from the restart. Here is Pam. Parker to Snowsill. She's around the outside here. If Bristol can work it, Murray helps it on. Trying to get it out to the flyer. Here is Joyce. First time we've really seen her with ball in hand. Bounces off the incoming challenge from Bradley. Not quite got that race between her and Ferries yet this afternoon. Lovely tip off by Marston in the middle. Just the almost no-look pass from the blindside Bears number 6. Snowsill now looking to try and work something. This is good from Bristol. Nielsen did well to take the ball, step away from the challenge. Steps again. The hooker there, outstepping the winger. Recovered well though, did Laughlin. Snowsill just worn round her ankles, and Parker under pressure with the pass. Snowsill unable to gather. Free kick.
Bristol have really upped the intensity, haven't they? You can just see it, and they're getting themselves deeper. And yeah, it's not every day you see a hooker step a wing, so well done Nielsen there. And yeah, just really good tempo, and just unfortunately with the knock-on from a Bristol point of view.
Bradley again unable to find touch. Gathered by Powell. It's a clever kick. It will bounce up for Kershaw though. Inside to Bradley. Just to try and step away from the stepper and Nielsen. High tackle though, called from the referee. Penalty.
Almost a slight let-off there by having the penalty for the high tackle, because actually I think by passing that back inside, that was an isolated attacker, so she goes to floor there, and I actually think that's a turnover opportunity for the defence, because you're coming back into where the defence were.
Bradley finding touch this time. Excuse me, and will be a Worcester throw into the line. The call from Thomas to Tremelling. Talented front row player Tremelling, play both prop and hooker. Part of the England development talent group. Into the middle for Harries, runs up against her opposite number, Lillicrap. Collision of bodies there, big hit. Acting scrum half is Nicholas, there is Bradley, now Laughlin, all backwards and sideways at the moment from the Warriors.
Hold on.
Buckland hurry now with the carry. Always seems to get over the gain line in contact. Nicholas with the delicate chip, and there are numbers chasing on the far side, and the tackle in the air there by Kayleigh Powell, who did well to gather. Just a bit too eager in defence. That'll be a penalty to the Bears.
Yeah, very mistimed hit there, or just lost sight or something, but yeah, you cannot tackle a player in the air, and it's fortunate, obviously players not injured, not landed funnily, but otherwise, you end up getting a card in those positions.
So in the closing stages here, time ticking on 35-minute halves, but we're just running a bit deeper than the virtual clock will tell you on this Allianz Premier 15's live stream. Still a final opportunity for one of these two teams to go in with the score. Nielsen just calling her forwards a bit further forward in the sunshine and the outskirts of Bristol. Straight off the top, and that's well done by Talia John. Marston. Again, 3 players bringing down the big number 6. Then holding on to the ball in the tackle with their teammates trying to come in, and that will be a penalty. The penalty just seems to go back and forth from these turnovers.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in the breakdown areas, but from Marston, for me, I think she'd done enough. She'd hit the ground, she'd done a ball presentation, she'd done a roll, so she bought her support time. So actually, she's done everything she can on the floor, so it's down to the support play to get there and clear the threats in a little bit quicker.
End of the line, Bristol.
Line outs to the Warriors.
Timing's good there again. Yeah.
Just checking the call again. Carl Thomas just ever present on this touchline. She'll know many of the pack. She'll know pretty much all the pack she's coming up against, having moved from the Bears to the Warriors just a couple of weeks ago. Bradley, almost every time there is someone on rushing from Bristol point of view, flying out of the line, and she has the decision to make to back herself in the pass or to take it into contact, as she did there.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Bit of work for the Warriors to do to secure the ball there. Nicholas looking for the onrushing Laughlin. Bit of work for Bristol to try and do as you could see they were all trying to just inch their way away from the touchline there to make sure they stayed in, and the ball goes out, and that will be the last action of the first half, and what has been a tight and entertaining first half here at Shaftesbury Park. Neither side really getting dominance in the game. 7-5, maybe a reflection of the game, maybe all square. Cat, what do you make of that first 35 minutes?
Yeah, I think from having watched it both, I think that's probably a fair score because it has been close. I mean, we've seen Worcester start to get dominance in set piece, but then Bristol struck straight back. So lots of nice phases from both teams. But yeah, I think if we could cut down the penalty count from both teams, we'd see a bit more flowing rugby.
So we'll hear from the Wales and Bristol Bears women scrum half, Kira Bevan, at half-time. Some of her half-time analysis. Let's just take you though through some of the action across that first 35 minutes. 2 tries in the game, 1 for either team. And the first one coming from a well-worked line-out.
Yeah, the second one, they've managed to get the penalty, and so they just, they're in low, they're in tight. I talk about it a lot when I say about the hips being tight together, so important, so they don't splinter, and the Bristol players can't come through. And they just had too much power for the defence.
Bristol Warriors have confirmed it was Sinead Harries at the bottom of the pile, getting the try, the Welsh international.
She's also made some great line breaks as well. Hits really flat, and so deserved try for her as well.
The referee in a great position there, getting down, kneeling. He's had quite a few of those to do this afternoon.
And then Bristol striking back, and it was off a driven line out, but managed to get stopped. And then Worcester were managing to hold them up previously, so the only thing they've got to do is go low and just body height drive, and as you mentioned, the leg drive and the power to get yourself down to the floor. And these are the ones that you kind of watch at home and think, oh, this looks easy, but it's not. These pick and goes are really difficult, and you've got to be so strong. So great body height, picking it up, staying low. She doesn't pick it up and stand up. She picks it up, stays nice and low body height, and drives herself down over the line.
It's the work in the gym, the work about your technique when you're going into contact and then going again almost. These are all the little things, the kind of nitty-gritty of rugby, which makes you successful and able to cross the line like that.
Yeah, because if you come up slightly as you pick the ball, Worcester defender gets underneath you, it's held up, or you get driven back. So yeah, it is more. There's more to it than it looks.
So half-time here at Shaftesbury Park, just that one conversion in it from Ellie Snowsill. 7-5 to Bristol Bears Women against Worcester Warriors Women. Let's have a look back now around round 7 and some of the reaction from across the round. Here's your review in 60 seconds of the Allianz Premier 15's round 7. So a look around at round 7 of the Allianz Premier 15s there. Some of the stories, just the 3 games this afternoon for you to keep across. 7-5 here, of course, at Shaftesbury Park. Sale Sharks Women against Wasps FC Ladies up in the northwest. That's taking place at Haywood Road. 0-0 there in that game. That's a 2:30 kick-off. And then at 3 o'clock, Loughborough Lightning against Exeter Chiefs Women. 3 o'clock for that game will bring you the latest scores throughout the second half here at Shaftesbury Park. Now, unfortunately, not able to go on the pitch today and play. Kira Bevan, the Wales scrum half, who's also part of the Bristol Bears women's setup. Get some half-time analysis from her in just a second as she's making her way to the point, and we'll try and get some thoughts of her in just a second once these are set up and ready in position. Kat, what just I guess the two teams and the head coaches that both Kim Oliver and Joe Yapper were saying, what I mean, more of the same in terms of that they've both had good moments in that half, but in terms of the actual kind of detail of what they'll be wanting, where do you think both teams can specific to improve?
So, for me, I think Bristol could do with getting a little bit deeper in terms of their start position, especially if they're wanting to get it wide. I think coaching wise though, they'll be saying to go a little bit more route one, but a little bit wider out, so maybe runners off a 10, but they're big forward carriers to tie the Worcester defence in. And for Worcester, I think Yappy will be saying actually more of the same, because what they're doing is working well, but both teams probably just reducing the penalties.
I think we're in a position now to have a word with Ciara Brevin, the Bristol Bears Women scrum half, is going to be chatting to Claire Thomas. The half-time thoughts here of Ciara Brevin, the Bristol and Wales scrum half.
More about moments than about scoring. A Kaylee Powell tackle here, a Worcester scrum penalty there, being held up over their line at other points, Bristol. What did you make of that cagey opening 25?
Yeah, I think we put Worcester under a lot of pressure the first 20, and I think it was just about being patient. You know, we don't need to rush through the phases. You know, we've seen obviously just recently that, and once we put them under pressure, you know, we can score. So I think it's just about building the phases and trying to shorten Worcester's line first to have the opportunity to go wide.
Once that stalemate was broken with the rolling maul by Worcester, as you saw them set up for that set piece, they got a big pack. What were you thinking from the sidelines?
Yeah, I think, you know, rugby's about momentum, and the momentum will shift between sides, and I think something we've spoken about during the week is that how can we combat that. So, you know, we're going to be under the pump at times, but it's how we can react back from that. And like you said, you know, Worcester scored, and then straight away we went back and we scored. So I think it's just about controlling what you can control.
How essential in a game that's as tight as this is that bounce back ability, that ability to say, okay, we see your forwards power and we raise you one?
Yeah, very. I think there's a lot of interesting battles out there today as well. You know, you've got the two number 8s who know each other very well, and it looks very physical out there between them. I'm glad I'm probably not playing, but yeah, it's just about, you know, can we counter it really, and I think so far we've shown physically that we can. It's just about doing that for another 35 now.
Two impressive performances so far from the number 8s, and a lot of impressive performances from the other Welsh players on the pitch. Jazz Joyce, excellent reads in defence, the same with Kaylee Powell, Al Snowsill pulling all the strings. How proud are you on the sidelines watching them?
Yes, it's good to see, you know, the girls step up in what is a very competitive league, and they're doing well. Snowy's controlling things well at 10. You know, Kaylee's been excellent at full back with some really last-ditch tackles, and yeah, Jazz in space is really exciting. So yeah, so far they're doing really well.
We've not seen enough of Jazz Joyce, I don't think anyone thinks here. What will Kim Oliver be saying at half-time to ensure that we get the ball in her hands a little bit more in the second half?
Yeah, I think in order for us to get the ball wide to Jazz, I think, you know, our forwards need to do a job, and they are doing that so far. So I think it's just about, you know, tightening, you know, making Worcester tighten up a little bit in D so that we can get the ball in Jazz's hands. And we've seen, you know, the last 2 weekends, when she has space, she is very lethal.
And putting you on the spot here, which way's this one going?
I'd like to see a Bristol win, but yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done in the second half.
Thanks for your time, Ciara. We look forward to seeing you back out there again soon.
Thank you very much.
Half-time thoughts there of the Bristol and Wales scrum half, Ciara Brevin. Interesting to hear her perspective on that first 35 minutes. Delighted, of course, to be commentating in front of rugby this afternoon, and the good news is that club rugby can return across the country. It has been now for a week or so with the new lockdown easing of restrictions. There'll be some changes, and here they all are if you're looking to head back to your local club.
We are pleased to announce the return of Contact Rugby Union in England. However, we have had to make some temporary law variations in order to get the game back on safely. These changes bring us to Stage E of the Return to Rugby roadmap and apply to community, adult and age grade rugby. Before playing, please check englandrugby.com for all the latest guidance on return to rugby, social distancing and hygiene. What will change? The law variations will affect 4 key areas of the game. The maul, the line-out, the scrum, penalty and free kick. The maul. It will be illegal for a maul to take place. If the attacking team deliberately sets up a maul, a penalty will be awarded against them. If a defending team hold up the opposition and do not tackle the ball carrier to the ground, a penalty will be awarded against them. The line-out. Line-outs must have a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 7 players, with the non-throwing team matching the numbers of the throwing team. The team winning the ball in the line-out must either pass immediately, release, or play the ball as soon as they land on the ground. No maul is allowed from a line-out. The scrum. There will be no scrums. A free kick will be awarded. A free kick awarded in place of a scrum cannot be taken quickly. Even though there are no scrums, there are still multiple roles for front 5 players in this adapted version of the game. We expect teams to select front 5 players as normal. Penalty and free kick. A team awarded a penalty or free kick will no longer be able to choose a scrum option. A team awarded a penalty or free kick at a line-out can instead choose another line-out at the same mark. In addition, a water break should take place at a natural stoppage approximately midway through each half. Coaches, team captains and competition...
So the return to rugby there across the game, and we are returning to rugby here on the outskirts of Bristol, restarted by Ellie Snowsill. Ball just getting caught in the wind, and a wonderful one for her team to chase as they lead by the narrowest of margins. 7-5 Bristol ahead in the Allianz Premier 15s.
No, it's on the shoulder.
The 2-7s right into the action there as Callender and Jones both come to blows. I think they enjoyed that bit of physical contact, as any good open side should do.
Definitely. It was a great carry and a good fight, but when you hit the floor, you've got to release the ball. Like in the 7s, you see it a lot. They release it, they then get back up and hold it. But yeah, she was definitely held, so couldn't then re-get up.
Snowsill will nudge this one to touch, and the big thing here is it inside or outside the 22? Just outside, so no chance for a driving maul from a Bears point of view. They do, though, still have possession. Nielsen with the first line out of the second half. Again, she's not been too happy with some of the gaps in the lineouts so far today. Just missing a mark there at the back of the lineout. Snowsill and Nicholas kind of come to blows. Snowsill did just about enough to stop Nicholas from getting there, and Bears still have possession, not too far behind from where the line-out was taken. Marston looks both excellent in defence, attack, and with a little tip-offs like that as well today. Parker just takes a couple of steps deep, and then Snowsill try and goes around the back. Penalty coming back though for the Bears.
I think Bristol's lines going a little bit more direct, aren't they? A little bit more pace, some lovely out to in lines there, and they're just looking really sharp.
Bristol with an option there, and they're just going to go back to the far side. And Kat Merchant-Stogger's has got sight of her in the commentary position.
Scrambling, trying to get across, bless her.
Might have a visitor during this second half.
Outside, guys, outside.
Again, just outside the 22 from a Bristol point of view, so no driving maul for the forwards to try and set up. Just the one shove when they do get it as well. Jasmine Joyce just a long shout into the middle here. Maybe looking to try and set something up, but Bristol have to regather possession first, which they do through Snowsill. But there was Bears' hand in there, and so possession conceded. Free kick to the Warriors.
I think one thing Bristol are doing really well is they're reacting so quickly to any mistakes, anything like that. They just seem to just be first on the ball, which is so key.
Drive through from Pam, wonderful hit back at the breakdown, but Bradley did well. Nicholas puts boot to ball with her team, excuse me, going backwards. The referee just making...
Thank you.
I'm not too sure what call he's making here, but he's having a chat with his assistant on the far side.
Okay.
And then obviously not coming off and coming away.
Okay, so that's caused the issue.
Yeah,
okay.
caused the issue from
Blue one.
Decision
Okay,
here
so
to
after the
be
ball's
made.
Played away, blue number 1 has taken a player
Bristol
to floor
captain
and then not got off her, and that's what's caused the
Clara
exacerbation.
Nielsen comes forward.
Situation. It's going to be a penalty against blue 1. Just tell her to cool it, okay? The count is fine, but she must then get up and play away, okay?
Sinead Harries, the Worcester captain as well. A penalty conceded. And the shove down the touchline. It's a good kick forward by the Warriors.
Thank you.
It looks as if Bristol have had a talking to there, whatever happened from the referee. They have themselves a lineup right on the halfway line, looking to try and make something from this. Calendar busy in the opening minutes with ball in hand. And the turnover again. Such a feature of the first half, the ball being turned over from either side, not able to keep it for large periods. And Bristol now turning it over themselves.
So thinking about it now, if you're trying to play the referee, there's a lot of penalties from either holding on, the tackler not rolling away. The way to negate that and take the referee out of it is just to offload and to actually try and keep the ball alive a little bit more. Offload, don't let the referee have to make that decision, and then I think that actually just keeps the game flowing a lot better.
Thanks.
Dog walkers are back. Done with the Husky and Amber Reed's
Worcester
dog.
on your front, step out please, Worcester. Thank you.
The dog crashed to the left of us. They're all getting very excited to see each other after a quick walk.
It's more than Honey Bear can like spot, and she's looking over players that are trying to get across.
Nielsen to Snowsill into the middle, looking for the run of Marston again. Always takes up that position in the centre of the field, trying to help the midfield off the set pieces. Snowsill with a lovely step, the loop over the top, trying to find Murray. Here is Joyce stepping away, jinking. A quick lightning feet from Jasmine Joyce. Powell goes in there, Snowsill. Mulhern, the try scorer for Bristol. 2 tacklers with the dominant tackle, shoving her back. Snowsill to Pam, looked like a really good line. Releases the ball, gets up, plays it again. Excellent work from the Bears loose head. Now his numbers on the far side for Bristol if he can work it. Here's Murray down the far side. Nielsen outside of her, who she uses now. One more helped onto the far side. Bristol just for a second looking as if things might open up for them. Parker, Snowsill in a slightly deeper position, and then lined up in the tackle was Natalia John. Just slowed the ball down there, Warriors, with that big hit. Murray standing deeper this time, looking to work it back, and it was a difficult one for Powell to deal with. And the attempted throw to the far side, and Joyce had space if the ball had come to her. Now she's got to try and find some in the middle. Steps off her right, but unable to find the gap.
Thank you.
Parker looks to try and step away. Great grab by Calendar, just bringing her in,
Just a knock on.
forcing
Just a knock on.
the knock on, and they have the advantage on the play, and they will have themselves a free kick.
Bristol must be disappointed with that, because they've done so well, and that was some of the best phases of plays I think that have been in this game. Punch up, get it wide.
To the far side now, and a looping pass, this time from Brinkett over the head of Laughlin.
Bristol just seem to be a lot more purposeful, so I think they're punching up their big runners with the likes of Marston. They're getting in behind them, and when they hit Pam up, I thought actually should have gone in behind. I was wrong. Pam did 2 great carries, broke through the tackles, and then they looked to go wide, and it was brilliant line break, and they've just got themselves that little bit deeper. They've got options as well, and it was just down to one pass which I think mistimed, which led to them not having it, but much better from a Bristol perspective to see that.
Attempted throw towards John, not quite hitting the mark, and then Marston again, straight off the top to Lillicrap. Looking to go deeper was Murray, tried to just flick the ball around the back. Gathered by Shekels. powering and driving the legs on her own 10-metre line. Bradley into the midfield. Ball comes loose. Chance here for the Bears. Nielsen, with the defence coming up, holds on to the ball. Parker out to Pam. It's been really impressive in the loose, the prop, but just loses the ball there. Some really good carries. The doctor who got into rugby at uni, but just spills possession. Free kick taken by the Warriors. Merchant's going to be off commentary duties for 30 seconds while she just says hello to a dog who's desperate to see her. Big carry from Sinead Harries.
First, no.
Nielsen to Snowsill. Taken by Cunningham to the blind side.
Second roll. Second roll to prevent the jackal. Number 8. Just another roll to prevent the jackal.
There we go, we get the shot of this is the husky we've been talking so much about, is dominating some of the Bristol players, injured players there in the stands. There is Amber Reed's dog lurking around behind him, but he is, he or she, sorry, I'm not too sure of the sex, but it's a big dog.
It's a big dog.
Just on the end of the line, guys.
Here at Shaftesbury Park.
Thank you.
An insight of we are 3 metres away from that dog, which is why when it has walked past us we've been slightly distracted. But on the pitch, a 2-point game, and it goes and taken by Brinkat, off the top by the Warriors. Nicholas looking for the on-rushing pass, unable to be gathered by Joe Brown, just too far in front of her.
Those are the ones, aren't they? They're so fine-tuned. If you get that out in front and then there's a flat pass, then it's brilliant. But if you could put it just too far out in front, then you force the knock-on. So playing right on the edge.
Centimetres and inches. Snowsill looking around the outside, then dragged back. Her body just curved into a horrible position for a second there. Seems fine, the Welsh number 10. Slightly awkward tackle on her.
Yeah, good to see her bounce back up out of that one, because that one did look awkward in the contact.
Back up on her feet and back kicking her team further forward, just outside the 22. Again, these small margins in the game. Hannah Stevens getting ready for her first throw of the match on for Clara Nielsen. Back from injury this week, the Bears captain, taken off on the 45-minute mark. First throw for her, 5 to aim for, in there towards the front it goes, stolen by Callender. Excellent read by the Worcester open side.
Hold.
Nicholas Shaw, carried forward by the Warriors forwards to the far side. Callender again, so busy, so looking for work. Just a bundle of energy when she gets on the ball, the Worcester number 7. Nicholas now, big tackle there by Mann and Jones.
It's not out, it's not
Bristol
out.
just asking the referee if they can come through, eventually leaving it. Bit of space here if they can look to work it. Laughlin with the tackle again. Callender's causing so much damage and effective work on this blind side. Bradley with the direct kick, looking to try and get in behind.
Yeah, just be back here.
Penalty advantage goes back to the Warriors as Callender from those 3 big drives is stealing the line out, just readjusting her hair.
Yeah, she was suddenly on fire. Load of carries, loads of work, and she is a player that does work really hard in the back row for Worcester, but showing some real skill there as well.
Bradley just making sure with that touch finder. Perhaps not the distance that she would have liked, but
6 and 9.
into touch is the main thing.
Neither team dominated again, and again driven by kind of knock-ons or by penalties at the minute. Neither team able to just get as much kind of possession and territory as they're wanting.
Fresh legs from both sides now.
Just wait for the players to go off the back.
All coming on, and what is a game has been now routine in the Allianz Premier 15s. There's a lot of energy and a lot of work goes into these matches because less set pieces, less scrums, less time for players to recover. And in theory, that should open up the game more as well with these tired legs. Just tackles are missed, which they wouldn't usually, but Katie Mattinson into the fray here for the Warriors. She's got a bit of work to do with her team to try and get out of the 22. Going backwards from that last play. Bristol all over this breakdown, being a nuisance, causing disruption, looking for the ball. Wanting the ball in the final bit of sunshine going over the pitch as most of this Shaftesbury Park surface under shadow now as the sun lowers, as I'm sure you can see by your pictures just under the main stand here.
Worcester did really well to get themselves out of there. I think it's not easy to exit at the best of times, let alone when you factor in the line speed and the pressure that Bristol were putting on them. So to get it out to the 10-metre line, they can now just breathe, just kind of for a second that they're out of there.
Then will be Phillips to check the call. Fizzed into the front this time. Cunningham just unable to gather the ball. Turnover. Hayes has got through so much work, the Warriors skipper. Laughlin, excellent line from Shekels. Now she's looking for support, but she breaks through the tackles herself, looking for some of the gas outside. Joyce did well to just read the play and stop any of those flyers from zipping down the wing. Seen a couple of times so far today. Jazz Joyce, just a defensive work, an excellent read in the first half, and there again just reading what was going to happen on the play after Shekels broke through. Bristol under a bit of pressure here themselves. Good tip up there by Mulhern, and now to the far side, and the opposite winger Courtney Keat with some space to run into, looking for support, back inside. Can they make this work? Kick forward by Powell, chasing her own kick. Warriors back, numbers coming through as well. Turquoise shirts returning all the time, and they've done just about enough there. To the blind side they go. Everyone just trying to catch a breath. That was a big long stretch of play from 22 to 22.
Use now 9.
Still the play goes on, although it is slow. Mattinson, high. Well taken in the air by Powell. Here is Lillicrap. It's an offload by Schuer. Now a bit of gas into the line it goes, with Alicia Butchers coming onto it to the far side. Here is Cunningham. And the lock trying to stride over for Bristol. All a bit broke, all a bit loose at the moment. Bristol go again and recycle their numbers on the left-hand side. It kept tight, still numbers if they can use it. Parker goes in. Referee has his hand out for an advantage on the play. Snowsill, Murray. Still numbers here if they can work it. Here is Joyce, the finisher. Steps inside. Wonderful step by Joyce. Races round a couple. Heads towards the post. And all that Bristol pressure has finally paid off. And who else but Jasmine Joyce with the score for the hosts.
And that's a fantastic work try from Bristol there. What great passages of play that they've pulled together. And then I really like that from Jasmine Joyce, because she probably could have just scored on the outside if she had just stepped, but actually shows her class, does her footwork so she can get under the post. So she's making a 5-point score, a 7-point by how she does that. So well timed by Powell, lifted out to her. So yeah, I think she could go outside, but actually no, wants to get under the posts and get her teams the extra. But that, you know, Bristol were clear with what they wanted to do there. You could really see throughout those phases building, and yeah, it's paid off for them.
Just the footwork from Joyce as Snowsill lines up the conversion, just sliced across that with the outside of the boot, but we've seen it when she hasn't really had that much space, but it's the half a yard step and the nimbleness off that left foot to just then step inside, because she did have all that space on the outside, but such a clever try.
Yeah, really clever, and I think, you know, to try and defend that as well, you look up and you've got Joyce opposite you, you're thinking, you know, you're really going to have to sprint to try and keep up with her, and she knows that, so she can get them off balance, step back in. And we spoke about decision making, and everyone thinks that's just in attack, but actually it's defensive decision making is what can make a winger world class.
Just going to have the break point here, and we are 15 or so minutes into this second half.
Okay, yeah, we'll take.
Both teams taking on some water. And you can even see, just looking at some of the players out there, they're still breathing so deeply. The camera just, I think, caught some of the Bears forwards, and that was a really draining passage of play, because we've gone from both ends, and then for Bristol to keep going when the play was so open. As you said, in terms of when you look at the analysis of that next week, it's a really well worked score.
Yeah, and what they've changed the most though is they started offloading. They started making line breaks and passing before, rather than taking the contact. So again, take the ref out of it. No holding on penalties. No, not slowing it down with that. So keeping that ball alive, and it has worked for them. So I think that's something they should continue to use. But yeah, get in behind, offload, change a point of attack.
A couple of Bristol players just receiving a bit of treatment there. Talia John, the Welsh lock, back up on her feet. Kaylee Powell, I think that is as well, just receiving some treatment to the top and back of her thigh. And so the after effects of the tackle in the air, which she took well, but she seems to have no after effects, and an assist for her today for that Jasmine Joyce try. Restarted by Sarah Nichols. Sorry. Placement on for Bristol point of view with Serena Settembre, the Italian scrum half. That's a wonderful offload, and here is Murray out to Joyce, looking to step again. 2 she's gone through, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. They'll eventually bring her down, the Bristol number 11. And then the Worcester defence does its job and comes through. Big pats on the back, just trying to re-energise themselves, you feel, Worcester at the moment, because they have spent maybe the last 5 minutes or so in conceding that try on the back foot. That's a wonderful kick from Mattinson, and they just need a sort of a second wind.
Yeah, because Bristol, they're really looking to attack now, and they're wanting to get that second try in quick succession. So it's important that Worcester, for them, they got that. But and again, you saw it earlier. Marston makes that line break. She's scanning left and right. She's looking to offload. They're not looking to just take contact. They want to keep the ball, want to keep it alive.
Carmen Tremelli towards the back for Worcester. Quick ball off the line now, and it's off the top. Here's Kershaw with a little dummy, then the burst of pace. Wonderful from Kershaw. She's looking for support, looks to try and back herself instead with no one around. A good solid tackle to bring her down. In support it comes through now, just outside the 22. Worcester with a chance themselves, getting some momentum in this attack. Just behind Callender though. Takes that momentum away. Tremelli, Worcester coming through, recovering the ball. Mattinson looking for the drive and carry of Cara Brinkett. Now Harries just seems an absolute workhorse. The 2 number 8s on both sides today have got through so much carrying and so much work at the breakdown and defence. Nicholas. No way through the Bears defence this time. Looking to try and go a bit wider. Callender, but pinned back by Pam. Good tackle from the prop.
Hold. Use it now, 21.
Mattinson just assessing the situation, look left then right. Marston come flying up in the line. Wonderful line speed from the Bristol back row, and that has earned her side a penalty. That work from Marston has been so dominant in the carries today, but we've also seen her in defence, and that just another sign as Snow still looks to try and take it quickly, but the knock-on as they try to get it out of the tackle. Shekels for the Warriors.
Advantage is over from the knock-on.
Truck and trailer option here into contact. Tremelli and Callender, the 2 there. Then it's to the boot. Powell looking to try and work something here. The lofted pass on the gain line, well read by Worcester.
No, you're not on the ball there. Take a step for me, please. Use now, 9.
Settembre. Lillicrap onto Pam. Good tip to the left. Snowsill. Round looking for Skuse. Bristol Bourne Centre takes it up well, and then Worcester think they have possession, but the referee just calls a halt to proceedings.
Thanks, mate.
An injury in the middle of the pitch, and I think it's Big Lock Buckland Harry, I think, is down in the middle there.
Well, I don't know what was said in the change rooms at half-time to Bristol, but the defence has massively stepped up. That's a huge difference in these two sides at the minute. Bristol is suddenly putting in some huge hits, and by doing that, you put in Worcester back and back again and back again, and it becomes much harder to attack from it. But I mean, Pam has, Marston has, Powell. There's some huge hits going in, which is great to see the intensity in the defence step up.
It's actually Liz Sherman who's just getting a bit of treatment on the pitch. Medical staff checking that she's okay. Another chance for both teams to just pass on some messages, pass on some words, some thoughts from the coaching staff, and as well take in some fluids. Looks okay and happy to continue. Liz Sherman.
Okay, guys, time on. Let's go. It's their scrum.
Last passage of play.
Scrum, yeah. There's your mark.
With that stoppage mark made by the referee, and that scrum called. Worcester with the put-in.
Crouch!
Warriors with the first score of the afternoon.
Okay, guys, sorry, that might have been my mistake. Sorry, you
Harry's going over, but tries from Ellie Milhern. And Jasmine Joyce giving Bristol this slender 12-5 lead.
Okay,
in a game that has been very much to and fro, up and down for both teams. They've both had dominant spells, both been on the back foot as well. Get set for should be an interesting last 10 minutes or so on this Allianz Premier 15's live stream.
There's the mark. Keep the balance,
the game's
keep the
definitely
space.
not lost yet from a Worcester perspective, and it's still all to fight for, but you can see they both want it. They really do. These teams have come out like fighting.
Mentioned both looking to try and maybe kickstart their season in the pre-game, because both on losing runs. Worcester 5 on the bounce for them, Bristol 3 in a row, so a win so important just to try and get their season going, get some momentum. Mattinson onto Ferries as Kershaw was coming round the outside, steps back in the fullback. Mattinson to Starmer, and there's a yellow card straight away for Alex Callender. Big smiles on the Bristol faces. I think they feel like they've wound up the open side there. I was watching the play carry on, so I'm not too sure what happened off the ball. Perhaps get a look at that, but a yellow card shown straight away by the referee for something that happened, and Alex Callender will spending 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, I was watching play as well. I didn't actually see what happened, but yeah, it'd be interesting if we can get a look back at that.
I'll get a look back for you on the Callender incident.
Yeah, fine. Thanks, mate.
So the lead, 7 points, and now an extra player for the closing stages of the game. Bristol will feel in a comfortable position heading into this.
Wait, back you go. Play it away.
Holly Phillips hitting her mark, the Canadian. Really interesting story as she came out to try out for a few Allianz Premier 15 teams, a 20-year-old. A full debut last week. She actually had a flight back to Cagliari booked, but I think she'll be spending Christmas in England. Mattinson looking to try and work the ball to the far side. I haven't seen too much of her in the first half, but she now helps it on to Shekels. Kershaw on the far side.
It's marked, okay.
Taken into touch.
Another huge hit from Powell. She's put in some try-saving tackles, actually, and I just think, you know, if you don't make that hit and there's a pass back inside or anything like that, but really, really solid in her defence. Worcester seemed to be able to create something out of nothing, I think, is what Bristol played, like really good phases, and then suddenly Worcester get the ball, they get it wide and they look dangerous.
Phillips into the middle, but disrupted at the front of the line by Worcester. The hand of the Warriors. Means it'll be a free kick to the Bears. Settembri, the Italian replacement personal trainer in the area. Snowsill gathers up that loose ball. Good dummy there with the line speed of Harries coming through. Phillips now in the loose, away from the set piece work she's been doing. That's a good steal from a Worcester point of view now, just outside the 22. Harries again straight away, as soon as they got that ball back. In the middle she went, looking for work, looking for the ball. They have the advantage on the play from a high tackle on her. Quick tap and go from Mattinson, looking to try and get go. Pam then will not have been back 10 metres, so another advantage for Worcester. And I think we might be about to possibly even things up here. I thought the referee was blowing time off to go digging for a Carby, who's actually, I think, just having a quick word and marching them back another 10 metres.
Yeah, I think because a lot of the time teams, when you're a player down, you almost try and slow the game down a little bit to kind of be in control of what you're doing. But actually, Worcester have really sped it up. But I mean, they have to. They've got to roll the dice. It's close now, and they've got to go for it. But yeah, clever play to tap quickly there, because obviously if they're not 10, you get another shot at it.
14 players of Worcester Warriors. Player down in the line out, of course. What can they work here? Brinkett with the take. It's well positioned, they've got good body sets and they're rolling forward. At the front, Flo Long just coming down, but Warriors still driving in this late winter sunshine. Going to the left hand side, Bristol coming through, to the left they go again. The referee has a look, and Worcester, despite being down to 14 players, have themselves a second try. A fantastically controlled driving maul from their pack. They might be a player down, but they've still got the skill and the attack to get themselves a second try.
They're just a smart team as well. They played their way up the pitch. They mixed up the tempo of which they had to play, and they know they had to score there, and they did. And they're so good in that driven line out. They're just the speed of it and the work rate to get in there and tight, and they just know. And it's the spin off, and that's what they did differently this time. So managed to spin off away from the defence, round the corner to get over. But very clever try from them.
It's Liz Shermer, it looks like, the number 18. We've got the score for the Warriors. This kick, so vital now.
Yeah, and it's about recognising when to peel as well, and she just timed that so perfectly. Really, really good play.
Sarah Nicholas then to level things up for Worcester. In between the 5 and the 15, the right-footed hook. It's definitely got the distance and it's got the accuracy as well. We are all square at Shaftesbury Park in the closing stages of the game. Bristol Bears Women 12, Worcester Warriors Women's 12. Grandstand finale here in the West Country.
I think to score as well with 14 is incredible, and then to slot that kick, it's not an easy one as well when you know it's taking your team to a draw. I mean, confidence and execution, fantastic.
Well, here we go then. What have both teams got? This is where you need to dig deep. The final effort, the final plays of the match. As we approach the closing stages, the opportunity there for either team to win the game. Mattinson with the up and under. Difficult one for Settembri to deal with under pressure from Ferries, and Worcester have come through. It's an extra spring in the step, quite literally, there from the Warriors. That pass a little loose from Bricknell. Worcester still on the ball. They can drive through the middle under pressure from Marston. I think she was causing so much trouble at the breakdown, they just had to keep it inside. And Laughlin with a wonderful line inside, still going, steps around Laughlin, looked to try and do it all herself. The number 11 bursting through tackles, stunning work. Opportunity here for the Warriors. To the right hand side, the ball comes through from the hand from Shuan Lillycrap, and I think the assistant referee
Number 8, you're offside, and then it's deliberate knock
Have
on.
a word for, no, just the offside. I was thinking they might have had a conversation about a deliberate knock on there.
Yeah, quite lucky because that came off of one hand, and if
You're going post.
it doesn't look like you're trying to catch it. I think she was trying to go for the tackle, but yeah, it come off her hand, so it could easily be a penalty there. But interesting now, obviously Worcester going for the points. I mean, good decision. I mean, 12 all, a few minutes left. They've just really upped it in the intensity, and what a run from Laughlin. Like she just seems to keep going. there's no rights for her to keep going. There's defenders on her, but she just manages to kind of wiggle her way through with good footwork and speed.
So Sarah Nicholas then, the 24-year-old fly half, former Gloucester Hartbury player, lining up her third kick of the afternoon. One successful so far, this to give Worcester the lead.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
With a couple of minutes remaining in the game, just has to reset the ball.
You've got 15 seconds to go.
Sherman, the try scorer, got Warriors level. Just acting as a holder for this ball. Sarah Nicholas looks to drive it through, and that's an excellent strike through the middle. And with still this player less, the Warriors have now scored 10 points in return, and Bristol have just taken their foot off the gas, and the Warriors at the moment are punishing them and heading towards ending a losing streak of 5 games in a row with a really impressive last 10 minutes.
They've just got to hold on now. They've really got to hold on tight to this, because that was great play, good tactical decision, and then to have the nerve to be able to slot that over at 24, I just think fantastic.
So Bristol need the ball. They need to try and get back in possession.
Hughes. And away, Bristol.
Onto the far side they go. Ferries with the take over the 22.
Yep, ball's out.
Carried by the forwards. Worcester know if they can just keep the ball, if they can go through the phases, if they can hold on to possession, then the victory is theirs. So Levy looking for more. Laughlin again, bursting through tackles. Laughlin looks to try and throw it back inside, just I think half a second too late when she received the call. But so devastating again. In the loose, Laughlin, it's just her running style and the ability to break tackles.
Yeah, you can see what she was trying to do. She'd seen it's a 2-on-1, but slight overrun, and then it goes forward. But it's that's there, so she's got the handoff in her. She can definitely do it. But yeah, just Kershaw's got slightly in front of her there.
Snowsill gives it on, looking for the runners. Holly Phillips with the take into contact there. Murray, just a little tip off now to the side of Joyce. You want to get the ball into her as much as possible if you're looking for some points. Septembry, Snowsill fancies a run herself. The half break, she was just looking to try and release her hands, free her hands, and then the runners, just no one with her that time. Septembry into the path of Skuse, who will be looking to try and run through, and then the crossing call by the referee just as Skuse thought that the line was about to open up, and a sprint towards and change this line again, change the storyline again of this game.
Yeah, she ran behind her own player there. She's trying to, and that's the thing, you're chasing a game, it's the last minute, you kind of, you want to create something, so then you end up doing something that your teammate's not sure that you're going to.
Katie Matteson lining this kick up, one for Joyce to look at with interest, but just over her head and the head of Lily Crapp. Directly in front of our commentary position. Schmeling with the ball. Calendar back on for Worcester now. It's up to the full complement of 15, and there she is at the front of the line, taking the ball to Mattinson. Now Nicholas, who's kicked that penalty to give the Warriors the lead in this closing stages. Laughing again, ball under arm again. Crossing again though from the referee. Well, I wondered why there was such a big space in the middle of that back line, but obviously crossing was the call.
Yeah, I mean, she has been gliding through, but yeah, that was a huge gap there, so obviously crossing the cause of it, and Bristol get another shot at it now.
Guys, you need to take it 2 yards, please. Win more.
Just sending
Thank you.
the Warriors back a couple more paces to get their full 10 metres. I'm loath to ask Kat for Allianz Premier 15's player of the match when it is this tight. Perhaps we'll bring it out a full time if there is another break in play before the end. Bristol looking to work it through here as Murray takes it forward. Tight with the forwards at the moment for the Warriors as Alicia Butcher takes it up. Snowsill just helping the game along. Murray to Joyce, stepping away from the touchline.
Tackle away, Worcester!
Septembri, but then is looking for the ball. Simi Pam unhappy with the call. Referee has a long look at his watch, but it will be a Worcester Warriors penalty, and Mattinson will look down the touchline again.
Let's go.
Just try and... Well, I thought they were going to look down the touchline. I think Harries has said let's keep the ball in hand, but about the game of turnovers that we've seen and penalties go the other way. Is that the right call in the closing stages? I think Worcester just trying to eat up the seconds here as we head towards the full-time whistle. Tight with the forwards at the moment. Turquoise shirts coming forward, just making sure that ball is secure. Mattinson has a check with the referee, spun back to Nicholas, kicks it out into touch, and a huge win for the Warriors away from home. Just their second win of the campaign. Huge relief to end a 5-game losing run. Wonderful, wonderful scenes for supporters of Worcester Warriors. Disappointment for Bristol, who leading 12-5 in the closing stages and up a player will be massively disappointed they were unable to close the game out. But credit the Warriors, the way they kept going, the way they battled, and the way they have secured themselves a second win in the Allianz Premier 15s this season. And Kat Merchant, your time for your Allianz Premier 15s player of the match, and who we're going to have a word with afterwards. Who stood out for you?
So a player for me that just ran the game completely, kept her nerve, kept her cool, made the game run wide and slotted the kicks when she needed to. So Sarah Nicholas, I think she just had a fantastic game and is really taking this team places and excelled today.
So Sarah Nicholas is your Allianz Premier 15's player of the match. We'll grab a word with the Worcester Warriors number 10, slotting those 2 late kicks from a tee to push her side to victory.
But I think it's moments like that that do make players, because losing can become a habit, and I think there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. You're 24, you got a kick for to get you equal, she nails it, then a kick to take you ahead, nails it again, and I just think that's great. I mean, there's lots of contenders out there for both sides that could have took it, but excellent. I mean, Laughlin, good runner, we've spoken about her, and Marston for Bristol. There's been some big performances, but Sarah for me did it.
The two teams just going through their socially distanced tunnels now, and the clapping between the two players just means the sets of dogs have all risen in the stand again to see what is going on and put their interest. Honeybear not too interested. Let's have a look at the full match highlights then over the course of the 70 minutes. 2 tries in the first half, and it was actually Worcester. They got the first of the afternoon, and this was a feature we saw from them all afternoon in the end, Cat, and where both their tries came for the driving maul, which was really well set.
Yeah, they've obviously worked on it a lot, and because they're not a big team, Worcester aren't a heavy pack by far, but they're powerful, and I think they proved this here by getting in just that formation early, and it just seems it's a mindset thing that they know they're going over, and then Bristol striking back obviously with their the line out as well, but just from the pick and go.
So here is the pick and go to the right hand side, and we mentioned the body position and the strength of Ellie Mulhern, and really was a fantastic try from any kind of, not even just front row players, but any rugby player really, because of the way that she's able to push and drive and get herself over the line.
Yeah, because I've tried one myself once, thinking it was easy and got absolutely ended. So I can vouch for it's harder than it looks.
And this was after some wonderful phase play by Bristol, and they really kept on ramping it up at this point. They were in control of the game, and Jasmine Joyce with a finish you expect of a high quality international winger.
Yeah, she spotted the defender's gone, she's off balance, and so she's able to step back inside to ideally give her Snowsill the easier kick. but it's the hands here as well, and it's because there's good pressure up in the defensive line as well, but the hands, and for Powell, because she might get caught here by the defence coming across, so she moves the pass wide, and then there's that footwork, the over chase, step back inside and finish under the post.
Kaylee Powell with the assist and Joyce with the finish, but well, we thought we might be done with the scoring then, because Worcester ended up a player down. Alex Callender ended up with a yellow card, and the Warriors at this point in this driving maul had a player less, but still that control and that compactness of their pack when going forward, just it reaps rewards and you get it right.
Yeah, and I think because Bristol knew that last time they'd been driven backwards, they maybe weren't expecting the peel, so when that happened, caught Bristol off guard. So a really good, important try, and it just, you could tell it lifted them completely to have gone down to the player down to then score. Just fantastic.
And Liz Shermer with that rolling wraparound try, the spin off the back of that driving maul, and then Sarah Nicholas it was who had the winning penalty, still just celebrating with her teammates at the moment, hoping to try and grab a word with her in just a second. Full time here though, Bristol Bears Women 12, Worcester Warriors Women 15. A couple of the games in the Allianz Premier 15s for you this afternoon. The 2:30 kick-off. Sale Sharks Women 3, Wasps FC Ladies 17. It's the 2:30 kick-off, and then the 3 o'clock kick-off for you this afternoon. Loughborough says 0-0 there, but Loughborough are just hearing 7-0 up now at home against Exeter Chiefs. So Wasps and Loughborough, both top 4 sides, both trying to cement their place in the top 4, and both at the moment winning. And we're looking to do that and keep those results as they are. I can just see Sarah Nicholas jogging over to the position, and we'll hear from her in a second with Claire Thomas. Let's have a look at the upcoming live streams for you for the Allianz Premier 15s for the next few rounds. Of course, today you've been with us here to see Bristol Bears narrowly lose to Worcester Warriors Women. Then we'll be at Cop Hall Stadium next weekend. It'll be a top 4 clash. Saracens Women a couple of weekends away because of a COVID-19 outbreak in the camp, and 1 or 2 players having to self-isolate, but it'll be a top 4 clash against Loughborough Lightning Women. And then the top 2 teams in the country, the rearranged game which was supposed to take place today, Harlequins Women 7 bonus points wins from 7 against Saracens, currently sitting in second place. That of course the final from the past 2 full seasons of the Allianz Premier 15s. Then we're back here in the West Country, Bristol Bears Women taking on Exeter Chiefs Women, that West Country derby, and what you expect to be very much another tight game, just as it has been this afternoon. And the 2 teams here just going through their final team talks and chats, socially distanced, but let us have a chat with the Allianz Premier 15s player of the match. 2 late winning kicks, 2 wonderful strikes. The Worcester Warriors Women's fly half, Sarah Nicholas, chatting to Claire Thomas.
Sarah, a first win since October. Just how good was that full-time whistle to hear?
Oh, it feels amazing. We've been building towards this, and last week we put in a dodgy first half performance, and then second half we came out. So to go at it for 70 minutes, I think, is what we've been building to, and it's just such a feeling of relief and happipness that at the end of the whistle we did it. And yeah, as you said, our first win since October, so really good feeling.
A fantastic second half last week, which you're right, you built on, but you also, it feels like you went back to basics this week. Discipline, set piece, defence, things that Worcester Warriors are really, really good at, but it must be wonderful to put that all together.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we've been working hard in training. One thing we worked on was not getting stripped of the ball in tackles and the personal things and things that are our stuff to go on rather than the opposition. So we've been really working on ourselves, and then to take that into the match is obviously positive, and the coaches will be happy. So,
co-captain today, what were you saying to your team when you went down to 14 briefly with so much in the balance?
Just that we needed to keep our composure and stay playing as we were and not get panicked. I think some of the times we probably got panicked, not managed the game very well. As long as we stayed composed and kept that composure playing, then we'd have done all right, and we did.
Well, hopefully something can carry into the Christmas break. Congratulations on the win, and to yourself, you are the Allianz Premier 15's player of the match.
Cheers, thank you very much.
I I don't think, in the nicest possible way, I don't.
Claire Thomas there with the Allianz Premier 15's player of the match, the Worcester fly half, Sarah Nicholas. Great to hear her thoughts on such a tight win for her side, such a vital win, you think, for their season. So many games this season Worcester have been involved with, this time getting over for the win. Reminder, our next match on the Allianz Premier 15's live stream in North London next Saturday. Saracens Women against Loughborough Lightning. That's the next one for you, of course. Same platforms to watch on Premier15s.com, Premier 15's Twitter, as well as England Rugby's YouTube and Facebook pages to watch the game. That'll be at 2 o'clock next Saturday afternoon. Thank you for your company this afternoon, Cat Merchant. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for your dog's company. Thank you for all the dogs that were here at Shaftesbury Park. Really added to the experience at times during what has been an incredibly tight and entertaining match here in the West Country. So full time here, a massive win for Worcester Warriors Women. They beat Bristol Bears Women by 15 points to 12. Thank you very much for your company, and we'll see you again next weekend.
Joe, many congratulations. 12 all with minutes left on the clock, down to 14. Did you watch that final kick from Sarah, or was that through very much cracked fingers?
I did watch that final kick. Sarah's been kicking really well for us, I had a lot of confidence in her.
They say that winning is a habit. There must be a lot of momentum to take from a hard-fought result like that. Yeah,
we've had a really tough run in terms of results. We've been really proud of aspects of our performances along the way, but we just haven't quite got over the line for that win. And so today, we're massively proud of that result. And all credit to Bristol. It was a really tough game, wasn't it? Like end-to-end stuff. And but the girls stuck to it, and that belief at the end to come through and take the win, like you say, with 14 players on the field, was really good.
Belief aside, what do you think was the deciding factor in today's clash?
I think we came into it kind of wanting our players to attack more and have that intent to go forward. We've lacked that little bit of confidence in our attack and take them on, and I thought we did that at times today. We did our best in that start of that second half to throw it away. I think some of our game management wasn't brilliant there, but the girls stuck at it and they went forward with a lot more intent and confidence than they have been.
You're an evolving side and one missing quite a few key players at the moment. You must feel very confident that with Lydia Thompson and the like back amongst your ranks, you can really build on this.
We've had a really tough run with people, Laura Keys, Caris, Lids, and to name just a few that are out, that some of our leaders. So it has forced other players to step up, which has been great to see. So the likes of Alex Callender, she's leading our defence now. She's really young player, but she's having to take that responsibility, and Bradley coming in and leading, as with Katie. So other players are having to step up, which has been really good to see, and moving forward that's going to put us in a really good place, I think.
It's going to be a happy trip back to Worcester tonight, I hope. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Rock with me, all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Gunner puts the afterburners on. Shot-in Harris, 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Ride with me, all my girls with me. Ride with me.
Turnover by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. Now Bristol Pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess